Hello, everybody. Average 40k here. And this is our first podcast we are trying to do just to give other media to our website. I am Federico. I'm an historian student in Berlin. I started playing Warhammer probably 2-3 years ago when I moved to Berlin because I came from a very small town where no one would know and play with me. I have had a great time this far, and just ninth edition just brought a freshness to the game that I really enjoy. I struggled a lot to get my head around it, and I was very, very bad at the beginning, but now I feel like I'm getting an hang of it. And joining me today is...
Greetings. Thank you. It's a pleasure being introduced by the best Ultramarine player I know. It's a big honor. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Pau, and I'm also a history student in Berlin. And I've played Warhammer 40k since my cousins decided that I should not go the way of drugs and go the way of plastic drugs. Yeah, so I was very small when I got my first models, and they were Harlequins, metal miniatures, very pretty. I still have them. And I've been enjoying 40k in phases since then. But especially this last year when I came to Berlin, I had a little bit more of time, and I met some really nice people. And I've got some deeper into competitive 40k. And right now I'm testing a lot of armies, mainly improving my Harlequin skills, but right now I'm very hyped to play the new Necrons.
Yeah, to add on that, I'm an Ultramarine player. I'm playing Wildcards right now because Ultramarines are really boring. Don't tell Gilliman I said that. And I'm also playing Eldars because there's nothing like a dying empire and their arrogance that just makes me feel good. They just talk to me to a deep level. I love them. I just love them. Even if they're terrible right now, but one can just hope. And instead, Pau plays a variety of armies, and you can just give him any kind of army. You can just probably play a game and beat your ass. I think as of now,
probably not. I don't like power armor. I don't play anything with toughness 4 and 3 safe.
Oh, also we're part of a community here in Berlin that focuses on playing various degrees of Warhammer. It's an English-speaking community, so if you are listening to this randomly and you are in Berlin and you need someone to play with, to paint with, or to share your 40k love, just hit us up and we can put you in touch with them.
Yeah, and any variety of tabletop games. We're a growing community with very solid and lovely people, very beautiful people indeed, so we will be happy to join.
Now, we're doing this podcast to cover a tournament. It's not a tournament really, it's more a championship league, an event. Let's just call it an event, it's easier. That we are running right now. We are, because in COVID times here in Germany, you cannot really meet up for private events or any kind of indoor events actually. So we are playing, the goal is to play one game per week and go from there. Sometimes we can play 2, sometimes just 0, but I think we're pretty right on schedule with our games. We are 5 players, and each of us is going to play 2 armies just to give more depth to the tournament, because a 5-man tournament event is not like that fascinating. Not like 10 is much, but at least everyone is
a good number.
We have more variety because if you go on our average 40k.wordpress.com, you can see the bracket for a tournament, and we have a variety of armies, and everyone is represented. Very competitive armies. I would say factions at least more than armies. So we have Custodes, we have Orcs, we have White Scars, we have Necrons, we have Harlequins, Sister of Battles, like whatever you want is in a 10-man, we have it. So we want to just to share our experience with the world because it's something nice, and it's just to create another sense of community and just to share what we do with others, not just with ourselves. We have already shared with ourselves. So we want to just try something new, something maybe exciting, something that could lead somewhere or nowhere. Like, that's not the point at all.
Yeah, and I think even for us, just talking again about the games, passing them review, is a good way to improve and maybe to exchange some tricks, prepare ourselves letting you guys in another bit of pre-game thinking we do, and I don't know, maybe get yourself a little bit more deeper into the tournament rabbit hole of competitive 40k, which is a very fascinating and fun world, I believe.
Yeah, and I want to stress the importance of fun, because still in 2020 is weird, but the reaction you have when you say that you're in competitive 40k, not to a normal person or person like competitive what, but to another 40k interest the person, the reaction is like, oh, competitive player, he's not about the tricks and playing dirty. That's not it at all. Like, we hold each other. We try to hold each other to the highest standard of sportsmanship. Like, it's a game. We play with each other. If we make a contract to play 3 hours with each other and spend 3 hours with each other, we need to have some rules, and those rules are mostly sportsmanship. Like, we don't pull tricks. Gotcha plays are not what we really do, and we just tend to avoid it. Like, I want to make sure that competitive 40k is not like a shady 40k. It's just an honest 40k with top tier list and top tier tactics, and you just want to be your opponent. You don't want to just catch your opponent by surprise and be like, haha, I won with tricks. Like, that's not competitive 40k to us at all.
Correct. Yes, I would really stress this point too, because you all can always find some really shady people. I think in all places, in all hobbies, all games. But at least we have been lucky that our competitive group, with the little 5-man group we have, there are really solid people. I've never had problems with any of those. And yeah, we went to Prague this year before COVID. This is like ages ago, it feels like.
Yeah, it feels like years ago.
And I don't know, we had like really good games, really fun games. Of course, we heard rumors about that guy, but there's a small percent of this community, and yeah, it's just a bit of adding another layer of fun, you could say, to the game of 40k.
Exactly. It's just a match to see what's the best general. Basically, we can just apply the rules better and just understand the game better. It's not different than playing a game like chess or any board game, to be honest. Like, it's just more of a sport, I want to say, than, I don't know, than what 40k you could picture it to be, in a way. That being said, I think we can just move on to the tournament. And if you guys want to follow through, just go on average40k.wordpress.com, and you can find a page under the events menu. It's called Winter Championship 2020, and there's a brief description of what we are doing here and a link to the tournament that I update as soon as we play the games. And we can just delve into the game we already played, because as the time this podcast is recorded, we already played 3 games and 1 has been conceded due to lack of time on one player's part. And so we can just look at the first match we had. It was Orcs versus White Scars in round 1. Due to the nature of being 10-man tournament, we had some bias in, so some people wouldn't play the first round, but that's okay, that's part of the game. It was generated randomly, so nothing you can do about it.
Oh man, and I was so lucky not to get neither of those pairings for my first round.
And yeah. And you got also lucky that you skipped the first round. Not like it matters a lot. You got a free win basically, and as a tournament favorite is painful for the rest of us. But of course, in this tournament, I'm playing White Scars and I'm playing Craftward, while my co-host is bringing out the Laughing Harlequins and the newly forged. They're not forged; they've just gone to some weird transformation. Necrons.
Yeah.
How many games have you played with Necrons so far?
Necrons, just one, and I played just against Custodes, but with a very wacky list. I had 0 models painted. Now I have 1 model painted.
Whoa.
And I had to proxy a lot of stuff. I played a bunch of Sportback Destroyers who didn't do anything, but I was amazed with the potentiality that Necrons have, especially the resilience. I just played 60 warriors, and they didn't die. Like, my opponent picked the secondary mission where you had to keep a tally, and every 10 model you killed at that point, and he maxed it in turn 3. Like, basically, you just keep killing my 20-man squad, and I just revived them. Yeah, but he didn't score any primary points.
Yeah.
So this is the big stuff I see with the new Necrons, that objective secured on everything, and every Necron warrior counters too. It's very, very big. Especially because you can assert dominance like really, really early with the 6-inch pre-game movement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking forward to play that game, because if I manage to beat Black Templars, that I'm not sure I'll even able to, I will have to face the winner between Necrons and Custodes. And Custodes had some practice against. He's an elite army. Eldars are just amazing at deal with that. They're not amazing, but it's one of the best matchups, let's say. They're not amazing at many things. But Necrons is going to be a super interesting game, and I think I'm just going to score 0 primaries and be like, oh, this sucks. I can see.
And you have a lot of high quality shots, like I think of the Reapers. Like, yeah, sure, maybe you kill 10 warriors with 1 order of shooting, like, no problem. But then the half will come back in this turn, and the other half will come back next turn, and then resurrect them with my shiny new relic orb.
Yeah,
so, it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. We could, yeah. Well, let's cover it later, because I have also another few points to cover in that matchup. I'm just gonna quickly talk about, because in the upper bracket, Custodes and Drukhari just conceded the game, so nothing to say there. In the lower bracket, we have Orcs versus White Scars. I cover each game and play in a form of a written battle report on the website. This game was okay. I feel like the Orcs didn't really read the game well, and they just got crushed by White Scars. But again, White Scars kind of are a melee blender army and facing an horde. Like, I knew I did the math at home and be like, okay, I need this, and this to kill 30 boys reliably. And I didn't really care about boys or the Green Tide.
Yeah, especially because the 30 boys don't pose a realistic threat to any of your units. And the only problem would be if he swarms you with all the 90 in one turn.
Exactly, because I can't easily deal with 30 boys. Even Gaz, I thought it was going to be a pain in the ass, and it was a pain in the ass, but he was sent as a rocket by himself into my lines, and I was able to deal with him over 3 phases. Basically Overwatch in fight phase, I did some damage, but he saved one to just stay on the sweet 3 wounds suffered. So I shot him, I fought him, and then I fought him again. Because he doesn't have many attacks, so if I throw Bladeguard Veterans on him with a 4-up Invuln Save a Transhuman, it's like, okay, you're gonna kill 2. Too bad. Yeah. I'm gonna bring 1 back with the Apothecary, and that's gonna be my day. Thank you for showing up.
I had a really close game against the Orcs with my Harlequins, and I just remember I just swarmed Gasco with 5 clowns, and he took 2 turns killing 5 clowns.
Yeah, he doesn't really love Invuln Saves, and poor Gaz. Yeah. It was the same thing. Like, just slow him down, and it's not gonna do much. You don't really need to kill him quickly if he can kill you in return. Without being able to fall back and charge, it's like not that big of a deal. I feel like. Against certain army, if your army has an answer to that, if your army doesn't, then it can be a very, very painful foe to face. But you need to be prepared.
Do you think this mechanic of capping wounds will be added to maybe Mortarion or some bigger threats? Maybe to Guilliman?
I don't know yet how I feel about it, to be honest. Because the first impression was like, I get it, but I don't like it that much. I get it as a way to make your centerpiece model more resilient and make him feel like the hero they are, because they don't die in just one turn and they're very expensive. But maybe they should have gone with something else, because it could be easily abusable, especially if you have access to healing, like Orcs do. And as soon as if I wound you 4 times, you just need to heal 1 wound and you survive another phase. The wound you save is not 1 wound, it's like 4. And it's maybe they're gonna go in that direction, and that's okay if your model reflects, if the points you pay for that model reflect that, I have to say, then probably it's fine.
I was thinking about the Nightbringer, which when the Codex came out, I thought, Jesus Christ, what Games Workshop done, because it looked like really stupid that you slap just cap of 3 wounds per phase to a 9 wound model, and you regenerate 1 wound each turn. And one turn, if you have the right protocol, you regenerate 2. So, yeah.
Maybe even 2 times if you have the Silent King on the field and you do your weird necrotickery.
That's true. But if you have the Silent King and the Nightbringer spending 800 points on 2 models, that's tough.
Maybe too tough, yes. That's like playing better Knight, though. So
yeah, that's true.
If you're a Knight player, you might enjoy it. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing else to say really about this matchup. Wesker took it home. And yeah. And then we had on the second round, we have Hurricane against Imperial Guard. And for the viewers, like 0 points on Imperial Guard, 10 points for Become Painted. It's like not a good look on them. Like, it's just Harlequins are too good. No, they're not too good, but are they so good to deal with Guard and what Guard can bring? And do you think a mono-Guard faction works, or do they need to soup in some other element?
Well, this is a very good question. I used to play Guard in 7th edition at the beginning, and then when 8th came out, I had my Guard models lying there, and it was a time of souping, so I just souped 200 conscripts with Gilliman and some assassins, and it was broken as hell. Right now, I believe Guard is in a very, very bad spot, because tanks are not really that great, especially if you don't have an invul save. And against my clowns, he with -6 range, I knew I couldn't hide from the Manticores or from the Wyverns, the line of sight or the stuff. So I could just do everything on the front. And if I would have gotten the first turn, I would have just tabled him turn 2. But yeah, I tabled him turn 3.
I mean, with Eyewire and just Melta, you just punch through the... I feel like Limaras says really need a 2-up armor. Because it's the same as having a 5-up in most instances. Invul, of course, 5-up Invul. But a 2-up armor is more what they should be.
Yeah, and especially with Harlequins, you can just tag them. Because the thing that vehicles can shoot in combat now is a really great thing for Marines, for Elders, but no, not for Guard, because most of the good Guard weapons are blast. So in my first turn, I have like my Sky Strider Super Uber Clown. I made him run across the field, and I tagged 2 of his Manticores, and they couldn't do anything.
But yeah, because I tried to play on Battlescribe a little bit with the Guard, but I feel like they need something, because they've shooting. They have volume of shooting, but they need some like board presence. The time of the Guardman is kind of over. Like, they're easy to kill, and if you just bring even 50, like, that's not really a big deal to kill them. That's why I was looking into maybe allies. So if you bring some Repentias or some Sanguinary Guard or some like fast and deadly melee unit that you could use to trade into what kill your tanks, I think that could be an interesting way to go. But this is not a Guard podcast, and I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. I just want to say that I'm in a bit rougher Warhammer team in Barcelona with some friends, some really great players. And our Guard player, he played against me his most famous 220 Guardsman list, and I see this is the only way to play Guard in a really, really high meta today.
Oh yeah,
like, it's the only way, I believe, because you just don't kill. Well, you kill, but of deterrence.
But it doesn't matter.
You don't have enough shots.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the weird part of 40k or any game. If you take something to the extreme, it may be like silly enough to work. If it gets stupid enough, like bringing 220 Guard, then it becomes viable. Like when we saw the 200 Plague Bearers, the 120 Plague Bearers thing. Like, it's not fun for anyone involved playing with them or against them, but it's a way to win.
Yeah, it works. That's the most important thing in tournaments.
Yeah.
I just saw a tournament list with 120 Flamer Genestealers Acolytes, and I am a main Genestealer players usually like I'm very hard struck by the changes in the nerfs that they received. But yeah, 120 roasty boys might take over the meta because it's stupid enough.
But is that a joke we usually cover, we have between each other? Is like, if one is bad, bring two. If two is still bad, maybe bring three. And maybe some point is going to become good, right? It's that weird thing that it's going to become good at some point. Not everything, of course, but something that are borderline viable, they can become viable in a weird way. Of course, maybe a skill opponent can deal with them, but like, we're not here to tell you how to win a GT. We're not here to tell you how to win a major, because if you win one of those, you probably don't need to listen to podcasts about 40k. You already know your stuff. So forgive us if you sound silly, but that you're not the target audience. So bye. No, bye. You're welcome.
No.
You're super welcome. Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about your next game, Sisters Against
no, that was.
I had really big hopes of you winning against the Sisters.
Yeah. I had big hopes too. We played a practice game once, and I won. It was a close victory on paper, but I felt like it was a bigger victory on the field. No, that's not true. It was a very close game, but it was a victory by 3 points, but still a white scarf victory, a comfortable white scarf victory by being able to deny secondaries in that instance. But this is a game I already cover in my on the blog, because it's a game in which, and it is the game that made me basically start this podcast and say, wait a second, like, more than playing a game, the preparation you do for a game is as important, if not more important. Because in that game I went, and with little preparation, I was thinking about my Craft War versus Black Templars matchup and everything. The game was offered on a random day, and I accepted it. And I went over there, and it was even before playing terribly, because I played okay, but I made a terrible decision with secondaries and with deployment, and that dictated how I had to play the game.
Yeah, I had to play deploying wrong or playing wrong secondaries, and that's game sometimes.
And especially with white scars, like, you can't really afford to fall behind early on, because white scars are an amazing faction. They're a super strong army. The thing is, if you fall behind on the first 2 turns, it's going to be really hard for you to catch up, because on turn 3 they explode. They skyrocket as damage potential and board presence. So a good opponent probably is going to try to keep you in your deployment, keep you negating your primary points, and just making you score low on your secondaries. And I picked secondaries that made me go out in the open. And there were 3 squads of retributors that, if someone doesn't know what they are, they're just Sister of Battles carrying a multi-melta with 2 armor carbons and they don't suffer penalty for moving and firing heavy weapon, so they're better Devastators Marines. Take that, Space Marine players. And the problem is, with the Triumph of St. Catherine and a special banner bearer, they can use up to 3 miracle. Just 2 miracles, and one squad can use 3 per phase.
So with 1 CP, damage 9 with 1 shot. Let's go.
For 2 CP, they get plus 12 range and plus 1 damage. And if you fail one of your saves, they can just use a miracle to give you the damage they want. So it's super strong against everything, but against Marines even more, since my 3-up armor, my fancy 3-up armor, is useless against a -4, and then even if it's 3 damage, it doesn't matter. Or if I pop Transhuman, does Melta wounding on 4s with not so many shots, it's not that amazing, but multiple times that game, he just said, okay, these 3 are 4s, they're 3 wounds, without rolling. And that's just, it was like, I get it, but like, that's not even the bad part of miracles. Because what's very obnoxious about miracle is one thing, and is being able to charge with Repentias 24 inches away without rolling a single dice. They move 6.
Yeah.
They advance 6 because you have a miracle for 6, or you can manipulate miracles to weird stuff. And then you don't have to roll your charge, and you just pick your charge distance. That's borderline broken. That would be totally okay if you can just use 1 miracle on one of the 2 dice and then you roll the other. Because taking away the randomness from the charge phase is like so strong. It's an insane ability to have. And it's what I love. That's why I love to play White Scars, because most of the times my long charge I need to make in a game is 3 inches, 4 inches. When it's 5 or 6 inches, I'm almost tempted to pop the roll 3d6 because it's highest. Because I don't want to fail my charges. Because if you fail...
Yeah, or even you can charge with 3d6. So this is like nearly an auto charge in our mains.
Yeah. What I'm telling you, like, on a 6-inch charge, I'm tempted to pop the stratagem to roll 3d6. Because if my unit doesn't make the charge, they're dead and they don't trade. The ability to be like, I don't need to even worry about rolling. Like, I can charge from here, it doesn't matter. It's like so strong.
Yeah.
So strong. But
no, I wish I had like one miracle die for my G-Star Cult army back in 2019. I don't know if you remember all the games we played where my aberrants came down. I used my 3 CPs to move them 1d6. And each time I rolled a 1 and then I rolled a 1 CP and I rolled a 6.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Now you can't reroll that die. That's another thing that makes G-Star worse. But yeah, Miracle Die are like a mechanic that should get touched a bit, but I really like the feel of just saying, we pray, let's go, and it works.
I love it. I love the mechanic. I'm not saying the mechanic should be removed. I'm saying just change one thing, and is the charge. You can just use one. You cannot use two.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's too much. Because now you can bring some lists, like my opponent, Brian, just generated, like, 5, over a battle round, you can generate 4, 5, 6 miracles, and that's just you're gonna get those 6 and 5, but that's, I feel like, is a good way to go after miracles. But on top of that, even with miracles, White Scars are still like top tier army, and they can deal with them if they were not piloted by me because I played terribly. But I really asked for a rematch, so we're gonna have a rematch, and we're gonna do a crucial thing. I'm gonna think before I play, and I'm gonna think while we play. I'm gonna just trust and do what I think I should do without playing mind games and weird stuff. So that's going to be important.
Really good.
But if I look at the bracket here, we already have a semi-final, and it's going to be Sisters versus Harlequins. So you against the Sisters.
We're going to play this next week, and I'm already doing a little bit of tinkering. I've played Brian several times with my Harlequins. Always quite tight matches. Some games I played quite bad, and I still managed to win. Some of the games I played really, really well, in my opinion, but it still was a very, very tight win. So, yeah, it could go really both ways. I'm just very lucky having my -6 range aura to make all this Seraphim squads with Inferno pistols basically useless. And the big thing with what the main strat I'm going to do is just shoot the Repentia, or just rely on my number of shots to do something and kite them. Maybe put the transports with some clowns on the objectives, and praying they die in the charge phase so I get the point.
Yeah, I mean, yes. That's... it would be interesting to have, maybe in the next episode, Brian over and have you covering that matchup, because I think it's the most interesting matchup, and it's a matchup that, if COVID was not a thing, I would gladly spend my afternoon just watching, coming and watch you play, guys, because I feel like it's going to be an amazing game. But so maybe,
especially with all those 4 up saves, it's going to be like a Bitcoin Flippy 2. Like, it could go either way. It's pretty fast.
Yeah. It's going to be a super interesting game. So maybe we can cover it in our second episode, if we're going to have a second episode. Maybe just go over in the top bracket. We have Necrons versus Custodes and Craft Wars versus Black Templars. What do you do to prepare for the Custodes game? Because you played Custodes.
I will not prepare against Custodes. I'm a bit of trash talking right here, but I introduced our Custodes player to this beautiful army of Custodes, and I call myself a Custodes player too. So yeah, I've not built his list, but I've heard a lot of his process building his list, and he consulted with me several times. Now he's changed it. Now he's not playing anything I told him to do, which I find a pretty bold approach. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. The only game I played with Necrons was against Custodes, and it went really well. I know what not to do. Like, my Scarabs should not go charge our Telemon because damage flat 4. It's not a good idea. But yeah. With a Silent King, because last game I played with a Nightbringer, now with a Silent King I will have the chance to fall back and shoot, And maybe I should not just do stupid stuff like, I don't know, Veil of Darkness, some random units, or, yeah, just outflank my Scorpic destroyers because why not? I'm really happy that I'm playing a 10-man Lich Guard. I've never played them. Well, I've never played Necrons, like, for real, but I'm really looking forward to see what these boys do. They are the Blade Guard in units of 10, basically, with damage 1, sadly.
That's terrible then. My Blade Guards are damage 3.
Yeah, I know.
Because I watched some mail reports that how much I know Necrons, so just because I saw that you have like a million CPs to start the game, right? How many CPs?
Correct. I think I started with 13 or 14.
Yeah,
because the Silent King gives me 3.
Yeah,
I started with 14 CPs. Yes.
It's like having a good Gilliman on your list. That would be amazing.
And I have 2 relics, so this is the good stuff.
Because even Overwatch with Necrons becomes actually interesting, because with the old protocol mechanics, you can have Overwatch on 5s, and you don't really need 13 CPs. So you could easily just Overwatch, you roll everything with the Silent King, like you get an extra phase in which you can do damage. Like you're better than Tau.
It sounds really stupid, but for 1 CP, just giving those 20 Necron men plus 1 strength to put them on strength 5, and then rolling everything to wound against with the Silent King against Custodes. Yeah, maybe I can kill 1, and killing 1 is a huge deal for me. And in melee, I mean.
Yeah, and it is for him too, losing 1. Yeah.
I think the big part of the game will be tailoring a little bit the protocols. I can choose 4, thanks to the Silent King, and then repeat 1. And then the 2 I take out before the game, I can just make them come in whenever I want, thanks to Silent King's ability, the voice of the Triarch. So I think a big part of the game will be knowing my opponent a little bit better than he does know himself, and a little bit of thinking when will he do the big charge with all his models, so I can stand fast and maybe overwatch him on 5s.
And yeah, I mean, a lot of prediction goes into playing Necrons with those protocols, and I think they're gonna be. They can give you the edge if you really can guess the flow of the game, because having the right protocol at the right moment is a nice buff. Having the wrong one is like being like, it's gonna feel bad. I hope. But yeah, I trust that you can see you're gonna play your protocols well. Sadly, do you think a Telemon?
Let's see.
Do you think a Telemon can one shot? Do you think a Telemon Dreadnought can one shot the Silent King in combat if the Miniers are gone? I didn't run the math, but what happens? Because if I last,
we did, yes. With the Miniers, it's 100% no, because since the Miniers have 5 wounds.
5 wounds.
Yeah, it actually takes 2 big fists to take 1 down. But without Miniers, even fighting last, the Silent King doesn't have enough damage, actually, to kill him. Because reducing 1 wound, now with the new Forge rules, makes the Telemon Dreadnought especially nasty.
Yeah. On a similar note, in my matchup, if you have something to add, or do you mind if I transition to my matchup? Elders versus Templars?
Yeah.
Because it's a similar thing. It's like having the -1 damage on those Dreadnoughts. My opponent is running 3. I ran the math multiple times because I was like, maybe I was wrong. Sadly, I was not. I have no reliable way of killing them. With the -1 damage, most of my shooting is useless. A 10-man squad of Dark Reapers does, with rerolls to hit, does on average 8 wounds to him. And the thing is, he has a Primaris Tech Marine and he can just bring 1 back. What brings me? Yeah. So most of my plan is going to be, how do I make sure that those Dreadnoughts have the least impact on the game as possible? And that's why I think I'm going to... because on the other end, his favorite trick is going to be use an Impulsor with Blade Guards and just move an Impulsor, get out, advance, and just pile it into something I have. So just to move 30 in one phase, in one turn. I'm not really worried about Blade Guards, because I checked the math and my Shine Spears on an average day, so not their usual day, like, joke aside, not having rerolls is like terrible, because I could just be great or terrible, like so swingy. I hate it. But I did the math, and my Shiny Spear is a 6-man squad. I run 2 squad of 6. Can kill 3 to 4 Blade Guards if I pass either Doom or Jinx. He has Grimaldus to 9 powers, and he also has a stratagem on a 4 plus to 1 power, so I'm banking on the fact that at least one of the 2 will go through. So, and with some Dire Avenger random shooting or something, I'm sure you can just kill one squad straight away. So my main issue is going to be to cripple their mobility. I need to win the mobility game. And my Dark Reapers, luckily, they one-shot an Impulsor. And so I'm going to rely a lot on my firepower and my ability to deal with this list. And my poor Dark Avengers, they're going to hate me. But probably turn 3 or 4, they're going to just go into like 1 inch away from the Dreadnoughts. Just because a Dreadnought...
Just to tag them.
Basically, because, jokes aside, a Dreadnought, I think, has 5 attacks on the charge or something. 4, 5, 6. I don't really know. But hitting on 3...
Let me check.
Even hitting on 3... all my Exarchs, Dire Avengers, have the power to -1 to be wounded in combat. So these giant Dreadnoughts are going to wound my Avengers on 3. And I just need 1 to survive to accomplish the move block, basically. Then they're going to brutally die.
So the Redemptor Dreadnought, according to Wikipedia, has 4 attacks, and with Angels of Death, Shock Assault, it would be to 5. So, hitting on 3s.
He has Attack Marine for 6 attacks, I think. He has a World Trade to get +1 attack. But what I could do, so the deal scenario, even with 6 attacks, eating and wounding on 3s, he's not going to kill 5 Dire Avengers. I have to think about it.
Yeah, and I'm checking his list right now, and he has like really few units to screen. Actually, he has like his big Redemptor Dreadnought Castle, some Impulsors with Blade Guard to move forward, and then only 15 Assault Intercessors.
And that's
so maybe you can use your speed. I don't know, maybe to outmaneuver him and maybe charge those nasty characters. Because if you lose, I don't know, Attack Marine and especially the Chaplain and Bike, his castle can crumble.
And Gaspu can move 16 and charge and just shoot quite good, actually. I think my Shiny Spears, sadly, are going to be crucial in this game with their speed and their ability to do damage in shooting and combat. They can be key. So I would be fine trading 1 unit. And I think, actually, the least important unit in my list are going to be my 3 Wave Serpents. Because with Strength 6 and damage D3, okay, they're going to kill maybe some Intercessors, but that's not really an issue. So I'm going to use them to screen.
Just to Serpent Shield.
Yeah, and even then, Black Templars has a 5-up Film of Pain against all the mortal wounds, not just Psychic Phase, mortal wounds.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really tough game for them. So I just need to accept it and use them as cranes and just keep my Shiny Spear saved. Because in shooting, on average, a Dreadnought, after the Web Serpent Shield and after my 6-up Film of Pain due to my Spirit Stones, they just do 5 damage. So if 3 of them shoot at 1 Wave Serpent, they kill it. But that's why I also am going to think Lightning Fast Reaction is going to be coming really handy in this matchup, because just one of the Dreadnought can have +1 to it. Actually 2, because he has the Tech Marine. But everything is going to help, because if a Wave Serpent survives on 1 wound, it's going to be useful somehow.
Yeah, or even you can rely on those 6s and exploding, maybe do some damage.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be a sacrificial and very annoying unit. The role that usually my Shiny Spear have, my Shiny Spears, in a Space Marine matchup, actually they're useful. -4 damage too means that I can just pick up units in combat, except Blade Guards. Even Blade Guards, actually, if I cast Doom or Jinx. So I'm not too worried about it. My first statement was my game plan. I just need to make sure those Dreadnoughts, they can pull their weight. And also, like, moving around 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts with terrain and everything is not that easy. Because you're gonna go through building, you're gonna be slowed down, you're gonna be, like, you're gonna struggle to go through choke points. They don't have fly, so it's gonna be, like, really cumbersome. And the Impulsor don't have fly anymore, so it's gonna be really hard to move around. And the key thing...
I think you have to call the shots this game, just and then force him to fight the fights you think you can win.
That's the elder way.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the elder way.
That's the way.
That's the way. Yeah, so by this weekend we're gonna play both of our games. You're gonna play in 2 days, I'm gonna play on Saturday. So then we can come back to this once we played and just see how the game went based on our expectation and what was different. And then maybe we can have over the Sister of Battle player to check that game too. And have another weekly report on the 3 games we played. I think that would be a good episode 2. What do you think?
Yeah, I think too. Maybe to just close this up, maybe you can predict on my game, on my Necron game, and I can predict on your Craftworld game. As a closer score.
Yeah. So Necrons versus Custodes. Which secondaries do you think you're going to pick?
Oh, that's a very easy one for me. I'm going to pick the Scramblers because I have my Trash Can Crypto Thralls.
Okay.
I love the miniatures. They're great. They just look so dumb. Maybe Disney could have come up with that. So yeah, just putting them in reserves, making some Scramblers. If I need to, I can Veil of Darkness some Warrior unit to make the Scramblers on the other turn. And since I have the Reaper as a short range one, probably turn 1 I will be doing Scramblers anyway. Then I will be possibly engaging on fronts because Scarabs are really fast. Really fast. And finally, the Code of Combat. Every time my warlord or our character kills something, I get 3 points. This is really great because it's every time. So if my Silent King kills, I don't know, maybe 2 things in 1 round, maybe 2 palace or something like that, I get 3 points. Printing money.
Basically. So my prediction is going to be 75 plus minus 5 for Necrons. And something around 55 for Custodes. With some random point on engage and some random point on something else, and failing all the Wild West time we fight.
Oh, this is actually very interesting.
But
they're gonna kill his characters. He will surely take what we stand with fight, just to have this by Captain Trajan and the Taliban survive. And I don't actually see a scenario where I can reliably kill those guys.
But
the only way I think killing Trajan is running my Silent King in and paying 1 CP to explode him, which is like a gigantic damage output.
Yeah. In Custodes, that is an insane damage output to have because there's more 2d6 range and 1d6 mortals. Yeah, so it's gonna ruin a Custodes day.
Yeah. I remember when a knight exploded in your face when you played Ultramarines and ruined your day too.
Oh, that was lovely. Yeah. I lost 400 points. So basically, he killed in his whole first turn with knights. It did less damage than 1 single knight exploding. That was game. Like if your knight explodes and kills 400 points of your army, okay, like it happens once in my life. Hopefully, it's not gonna happen again.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna say 75 to then 60.
All right. Yeah, and I really am very, very optimistic for you winning the Black Temple game. Because I think if you go with this pre-game thinking of you dictating the pace of the game, you choosing the fights you want to fight, I don't know, maybe forcing him to move out and split out to get some more objectives, you have the mobility. So I will say you can really outscore him on primaries. And then secondaries will be the difficult thing. I don't know which secondaries Marines usually take. Yeah, I will say,
I think it's
60 to 40 in your way.
For Eldars, I can take it. Usually Eldars don't score very highly on points. So yeah, that's a good prediction, I feel like. If I manage to win, it's going to be something like that. If I lose, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe if you... The thing I'm most scared of if you position yourself in any bad way turn 1, which you will not do, because now we've talked about it, that
pre-measure.
Yeah, that's the most important thing ever.
Like if you don't pre-measure one turn, just go home.
Yeah, so pre-measure that he doesn't get you with a element of surprise turn 1, and then, go ahead and pace the tempo of the game.
I think I'm going to try to even bait the first Impulsor plus Blade Guards play. but we will see. Like with something, we'll see how it's gonna do. How it's gonna go. Because he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
It will depend. Yeah, and it will depend on how many primary objectives, like physical objectives. It's going to be a 6 mission. Is it going to be hold 2, hold 1, hold more? Who knows?
Who knows? And I just don't want to play one mission. If I play that one mission, I know I'm going to lose with Eldars.
Yeah, and we will always be happy to read it in the next battle report.
Oh, yeah.
Average 40k.
That's true. Check us out.
WordPress.com.
Check us out on the link down below.
we have already got all the YouTube.
Basically, we're getting ready. We are getting ready. Okay. Thank you for joining me tonight. And I'm looking forward for episode 2 and to hear about your wonderful game with Sister of Battle.
Oh, that's going to be next week. Let's see. Alrighty. And thank you for having me, Federico. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Always a pleasure.
Okay. Yeah. Alrighty.
Okay. See you next time. Bye.